very much, members of the media. I want to welcome you to this press briefing where we shall share information about the state of the university and the events that are going to happen in the immediate future. I want to thank you for always accepting our invitation to come to Kyambogo to discuss a number of issues. First, I'll talk about the state of the university. The university has been very calm in the recent past, and we have successfully completed the semester which began on the 5th. We have successfully completed the semester and learning which went on up the 5th of June when the end of semester examinations began. So we have also just completed the examination period for the ending semester. After this, students will be going for internship and school or college practice. This semester has been particularly hard because of running 3 semesters instead of the normal 2 semesters in a year. And the 3rd semester, as you may know, was occasioned by the government proposal to admit an extra cohort of students, especially in the year that we do not have senior 6 leavers as a result of the COVID and the COVID effects. This has caused extra financial hardships as we had to cater for government-sponsored students, meet expenses of unplanned examinations, and many other expenses encountered in the day-to-day administration of the university. I must thank the government of Uganda for coming to our rescue, especially in settling the government-sponsored students' allowances, as that had threatened to erode the peace this university has been enjoying for some time now. I must also thank the members of staff, members of top management, and the students for their understanding of the situation, which has ensured successful completion of this semester. Like all other government departments, the university is facing some financial hardships, some delays in payments of some allowances, but our staff have understood and they have continued working, which is really commendable. One of the activities we had in this semester was the 2nd edition of the STEAM Festival. STEAM Festival is the Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics Festival, which we've been having every year since last year, and we intend it to be an annual event. The 2nd edition was under the theme, Demystifying Science, Technology, and Innovation for Community Development. And the festival also attracted a number of young people from secondary schools to come and learn a few areas of science, and especially in an area where science is made simple. Many people think science is very difficult. But if you understand science, it's what goes on in our daily lives. And if it is demystified or made simple, then people will be able to appreciate it. And the festival was also preceded by a conference which allowed many members of staff to present their findings of the research that they have been doing. The university introduced a competitive research scheme where members of staff compete for funds, get funded, and conduct research. And this gave them an opportunity to disclose what they found or what they have been doing with the funds given to them. I must also thank the Dean of Science, Professor Mgampoza, and Dr. Savannah Nwagawa from the Department of Mathematics, who spearheaded the festival itself. And it was presided over by the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, who was represented by Honorable Dr. Musenero. We want to thank the government, and particularly the President, for emphasizing the role of science and technology, working with humanities as drivers for socio-economic transformation of our country. And that's what's going to transform Africa as a whole. I want you to note that all countries that have experienced fast growth, have invested heavily in science and technology and in research and development. And I can see that our government is taking the correct path. Let me talk about academic year admission. We have admitted a number of students. The first group was from the National Merit, those who finished Senior 6 and performed very well. Kyambogo University admitted 366 students on a government merit scheme. And out of these, 142 are females and 224 are males. We have received applications to enter the university beginning next semester. From the Diploma Certificate Entry Scheme, we have received about 7,000 students' applications. The direct entry, those are the Senior 6 leavers, we have received 16,000 applications, making it a total of 24,068. And the graduate programs, masters, postgraduate diploma, PhDs, we have received applications from 1,530 students. That brings the total number of students who want to join the university to 25,598. This is by all means a very big number. And we definitely cannot admit all these. We shall admit maybe 10 to 12,000, and the rest will join other public and private institutions. The process to admit these students is ongoing, and we believe that by the mid of July, this process should be completed and students notified, and then they'll be preparing to join the university in August. So the plans for this following semester are as follows. We expect the resident students to report on the 5th of August, 2023. That's when the resident students will report. And then to start teaching for 15 weeks, beginning from Monday, 7th August, up to Sunday, 12th November. And then we shall have 2 weeks of examinations from Monday, 13th November to Sunday, 3rd December. And that will mark the end of the semester. And the Senate has approved a proposal to have the 19th graduation running from the Wednesday of 6th to the Friday of 8th December. So those 3 days will be days for graduation in Kyambogo for the 19th graduation. I want you to note that we are trying to now catch up with the after effects of COVID, because we now want to go back to running 2 semesters in a year and not 3. Because 3 has caused us a problem, planning and execution. So we want to go back 2 semesters in a year, and this will be the end of the first semester, beginning the 5th of August to the 3rd of December. Let me comment a bit about the programs which are run in Kyambogo University. As you are definitely aware, there was a lot of screaming news headlines that universities, including Kyambogo, are running unaccredited and expired programs. That caused a lot of hullabaloo and concern. I must say there is a need to understand the terminologies which are used by the National Council for Higher Education, which cause this concern, especially accreditation and expiry of program. We try to explain, but it appears that members of the media want to believe what they want to believe, and they don't want to believe the truth sometimes, but we shall continue explaining because that is our role. It is important to note that once a program has been accredited by National Council, it does not expire. It remains valid. And the program remains recognized by the National Council for Higher Education, which is the regulatory body of higher education in this country. And any graduate from that program is recognized. In that case, all our programs are accredited and recognized. A program is accredited when it is new and proposed by the university and submitted to the National Council for Higher Education, which goes through a screening process to see that the program is good. The university has the infrastructure to run the program. You have the staff to run the program. And the program is essential to our country. Then they accredit it, meaning you can go and run this program. So once that is done, the program remains valid. However, the National Council for Higher Education emphasizes the need to periodically re-examine these programs. If you have been having a program running for 10 years, 15 years, 8 years, is it still valid? Is the content still okay? So you need to review it periodically. So the National Council had proposed a number of years, 5 years for diplomas, bachelors and masters, and 10 years for doctorates. However, implementation of this requirement has encountered numerous problems, some of which are structural, some related to staffing and funding from both the National Council for Education and the universities. Where you have a structure which is 30% established and filled, you don't expect it to perform to 100%. In an attempt to streamline our teaching and learning, we looked at the diploma programs this university was running. This university, which was established in 2003, inherited about 52 diploma programs, 52. And then we also added on about 140 bachelor's programs and about 48 master's programs. And now we have about 11 PhD programs. By all standards, this is massive, and you need a lot of people, a lot of staff to run these programs. So we took a deliberate decision that we are going to focus more on bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. So we re-examined the diploma programs, and we phased out 27 diploma programs. Why? Because these programs were being run by many other institutions across the country. And we didn't think it was good for us to compete with these colleges that are running these programs. However, we retained 17 diploma programs which are not being run by any other institution in the country, especially those where we have a niche. For example, diploma in biomedical engineering, diploma in refrigeration. By the way, if you find a refrigeration facility like air conditioning or fridges in this country, somebody from Kyambogo must have touched that equipment at some point, because it's not run in many other institutions. And then we shelved 8 programs, just put them on shelf, and we are not running them. So we have informed the National Council for Education to update their website. In the recent past also, the university has been very active in reviewing programs. like in the last month, we submitted 74 programs, the National Council for Higher Education. 74 programs for them to review. Some are new programs, many of them are old programs, but they have been revised. So we hope that the National Council will do their bit and come back to us. So following several complaints and misunderstanding, the National Council sat and took a deliberate decision to replace the word expiry with the due for review for programs whose reassessment has lapsed and have not been submitted to National Council for review. If a program has lapsed, the accreditation period has come to an end, you are supposed to review it and send it to the National Council. If you don't do it, it will be classified as due for review, not expired. And then to maintain the word under review for programs whose assessment has lapsed but have been submitted to the National Council for review. Like the 74 programs I've talked to you about are now under review by the National Council for Education. We also debated the issue of the period between accreditation and reassessment and felt that 5 years was a short time. Look at the bachelor's in medicine, for example, and surgery. The program is 5 years. And do you expect this program to be reviewed after every 5 years? It's not tenable. So we agreed to extend that period to allow the program to run for 2 cycles. Then we added 1 year, so 2 plus 1. So for a program like Bachelor of Medicine, which is 5 years, it will need to be reviewed after 11 years. For bachelors, which are 3 years, it will be reviewed after 7 years. And that will give institutions some time to look at this. And as we go along, we need to introduce some reforms in the universities and in the National Council. And one of them is to give universities greater autonomy to manage their academic programs. And the council regulates at a higher level. But when the council regulates at a lower level, then you have a problem. I don't want to talk too much about it because you are going to ask me that I'm in both areas. That one we debated with some of you who called me on phone. Another issue I want to talk to you about is the phasing out of primary teachers' colleges in Uganda. The National Teacher Policy recommended the establishment of the Uganda National Institute of Teacher Education, UNITE, as a standard of the National Teacher Policy, and accordingly to enact this recommendation, the Ministry of Education and Sports appointed a task force to spearhead the establishment of UNITE as a public other degree awarding institution. The Institute of Teacher Education in Kyambogo, which was established in 1987, was mandated to train teachers in primary teachers' colleges and national teachers' colleges by the Ministry of Education and Sports for the award of grade 3 and grade 5 teachers' certificates, respectively. And in 2014, Kyambogo University created the first batch of early childhood development teacher training institution. There are about 24 institutions which are affiliated to Kyambogo for the award of certificates in teacher education for early childhood development program, according to our Kyambogo University affiliation policy. So the ministry has made a decision to rationalize and repurpose the 46 primary teachers' colleges for effective utilization of available resources. It was decided to maintain 23 core PTCs and repurpose or phase out 23 non-core PTCs into the main campus of the proposed Uganda National Institute for Teacher Education, effective July this year. So for purposes of follow-up of this exercise, some of our university officials have embarked on an inventory exercise to document students, programs, teaching and learning infrastructure, and other facilities for Kyambogo University in these PTCs. What I want to mention here is that the teacher policy is good, and the establishment of UNITE is good, but it has not been properly understood. The purpose of UNITE is to create a body that will ensure the quality of the teachers who come out of the PTCs. Because right now, Kyambogo University, established in 2003, took over this mandate because originally PTCs and NTCs were under ITEC, Institute for Teacher Education. When Kyambogo University was established, I think the university took over the liabilities and assets and then took over these NTCs and PTCs. The university has grown massive since then. We now have a student population of 33,000. We have many programs to run. The university cannot ensure the quality of the teachers who come out of these colleges. It's not possible. Because what we have been doing was to look at the curriculum and examine them. We don't appoint who teaches there. We don't monitor how they are taught. For us, we come in at the end, set exams, and mark. And that's not enough quality control. So the starting of UNITE was to create a body whose mandate is going to be to ensure that we produce good teachers for our nursery schools, we produce good teachers for primary schools, and good teachers for secondary schools. Because as we talk now, nobody is doing that job properly. And we have had discussions with the ministry. We've been looking forward to a time when they take over this role and get UNITE running and up. And I think the National Council for Education is looking at establishing it as a public other degree awarding institution, where the teacher policy requires that teachers now will have bachelor's degrees. And this is what is taking place in all other countries. We visited Cuba the other time when the council directed that I must look for professors. And I looked for professors in the country, there were none. And the president had just returned from Cuba to sign a bilateral agreement. And one of them was exchange of human resources. So I ended up in Cuba looking for professors. Unfortunately, I didn't find them. They don't have them. But what I found is that Cuba has a university for pedagogy. In each region of Cuba, they have a university for pedagogy that is responsible for ensuring the quality of the teachers. And anybody who goes to teach in a university must go through that university or attend a program of that university so that you are trained in how to teach. That is how Cuba is now a net exporter of human resources. Cuba has no oil, it has no gold, it has nothing, but has well-trained human resources. And they export these people across the globe. So the thinking of starting UNITE is a good idea. And those people who think that they should pump money in Kyambogo and start supervising these colleges, I think don't know the direction the university is taking. The university is going in the direction of research, innovation, science, technology, ICT, and it cannot go back to supervise nursery school teachers. That's not going to be possible. So for us, we support the establishment of UNITE. We support the Minister of Education who came up with the whole idea. And we support the teacher policy. And I hope that this will be realized in the near future, so that we have teachers who are good and whom we can entrust with our children. I always have admiration for teachers. They take a child who knows nothing and transform them into children who know a lot. And many of you, I believe you have children. You see how they are transformed in learning. You try to teach them, you fail. But the teachers know the skills of teaching these young people. So I think government is moving in the right direction to establish unity, and you will be updated on the progress this institution is going to be making. Now the debate is what happens to the other 23 PTCs, PTCs. The government will come up with a policy. I think some have been given to universities to be used as campuses. Others, I think the politics of the area have decided that they become vocational centers. So they will be utilized because this is infrastructure by government, which, by the way, is massive infrastructure. Government, through Enabero and other development partners, improve the infrastructure in these places, and they will be used for the benefit of our people. I want to stop here. I know you have your own questions, so you can ask some questions, seek clarification on any matter that you want to be addressed. And I'm told you are going to have lunch today. I'm told Jennifer has prepared lunch for you. The first time she's doing it. Any comments? I don't have the list of the programs that we phased out, but these were diplomas which are run by other institutions, like diplomas in primary education, diploma in secondary education. Those programs which are run by other institutions, we didn't want to compete with them. And two, the harmonization of the 2 semesters has been carefully done. Right now, there are some who are in the first semester and others are in the second semester. When we come the next semester, those in the first semester will go the second semester. Then we are bringing in senior 6 leavers who will be in the first semester, but they will be carefully monitored. So until we phase out this group that joined late, and that may take about 3 years. But the advantage of running 2 semesters is that the financial year is such a way that the money is released in every quarter. So you have 4 quarters. So if you are running 3 semesters, that will go beyond the financial year. That's what the problem we had. But now that we are running 2, the planning will be along the lines of the 4 quarters of the financial year, and we should not have much problem. However, the numbers are likely to be more, but we'll plan for them accordingly. Yes, please. We don't have staff who have been assigned to colleges.
The ones that are setting the exams, marking the exams, that role.
They will be given other roles.
More any result of
No, I think those staff are mainly in the Faculty of Education who have been doing this, and maybe others in arts and humanities. But once we decided to come out of the diploma training and focus on bachelor's and master's, many of them have been given other assignments. So those people who have been teaching and also moderating those exams, they'll be given other responsibilities. Yes.
And then the issue of the financial hardships you have to encounter
See, government-sponsored students are two categories. There are some who are staying in the halls of residence, and then those who are staying outside the halls of residence. And they receive two types of allowances. Those staying in halls of residence, I think there is a package they receive. And those who don't stay in the halls of residence get what we call living out allowance. Now, the money for those students was released for 2 semesters. But we had 3 semesters. So the students had a semester where they do not have the allowances released because of the 3rd semester. That was the cause of the problem. So we had to discuss with the government how to find money and pay for that extra semester. But now money will be released in 2 semesters, so we know you have 2 semesters, 1 and 2. And the students were saying, but didn't you know we're here? Didn't you plan for us? But this was the 3rd semester, which was more or less really unplanned for effectively. So that once we do that, then that problem should cease.
How many students?
I think all in all we have about 1,400 government-sponsored students. We don't have the number of head, but they're about 1,400. But that matter has not been clearly understood by society. No? That means you have not done enough to educate them. Because we have explained this over and over and over, and I'm surprised that you still want it, even in Uganda. Eh? But expire in Uganda cheaters. Eh? Is that Mwako? Kale, twali twogera ku state ya university ne twogera ne programs oba masomo gewagamba nti gali expired oba gagwako. Ekintu ekyo kya causing excitement oba abantu bangi tebakitegeera bulungi. Naye ekikulu kya kutegeera kiri nti amasomo National Council gwemaze kuga-accreditinga, kuga-approvinga, tege expiring, agabeera recognized, kwegamba omwana bw'aba amaze okusoma programu eyo, National Council ebekakasa nti weawo yasoma n'amala n'afuna qualification eyo. So qualification eyo ebeera valid. Naye kubanga wabawo obutategeera bulungi, twadiscussing mu National Council ne tugamba nti kigambo expiry ekyakozinga kasasamulo obako obutabeera bulungi tukiyite due for review. Kwegamba program bweba emaze ebbanga ddene nga oteekwa kugitunulamu again, kitegeeza nti eyo program eri due for review. Kwegamba gwe university or department oteekwa kulaba nga ogireviewinze n'ogisubmitting again. Netuteekako ne tugamba nti kati obudde bwetaaga kuva ku accreditation ne review, obwo obudde katubwongereyo. Netugamba katukkirize program erunninga cycle 2, kwegamba bagisomese cycles 2. Kwa program bwebere n'emyaka 3, kimanyisa cycles 2 ziza ku emyaka 6. Netwongerako n'omwaka gumu gw'okweteekateeka. Kwegamba amasomo g'emyaka 3 National Council yetaaga nti gabe reviewed emyaka 7 ng'eweddeko. Amasomo g'emyaka 5 nga medicine ja kwetaaga emyaka 11 kwegamba programu eyo nga bakoleki bali reviewing. Naye tumanyi nti waliwo programs eziri professional ezitakyuka nnyo, programu nga vet medicine, nga human medicine, engineering tezikyuka nnyo. Wewaawo ebintu bipya bijja, technology echanginga. Naye that's why oba eyo ensonga twetaaga ku review nga netwongeramu ebipya ebize, technology, advance ya science n'ebirala. Kati obudde obwo ne tubwongerayo mu maaso. Ne tugamba nti program bweba ng'omaze kugisubmitinga mu council nga tebanaba kuddamu ejja kuba under review, kwegamba council egitunulamu. Kati ekyo ndowooza abantu bwe bakitegeera akakasasamuro akabawo ku programs, kubanga bagamba nti universities zonna running expired programs, kwegamba abantu ne baba concerned kati baba abasomereyo kati kiki ekigenda kutuukako. Naye ne tubagamba nti programs teziri expired, programs kyali valid. Naye ne twongera kugamba universities nti bateekemu amaanyi kulaba biki ebipya ebibaddewo ne babiteeka mu programs zaabwe, kwegamba program nebeera up to date ate nga ebeere relevant ku by'eggwanga byetaaga. I hope you don't want Swahili. Yes. Enteekateeka ya unity ffe tulowooza nti eteekwa kwongerwamu amaanyi. Eteekwa kwongerwamu amaanyi kubanga tuteekwa kuba ne body oba ne ekitongole ekirabirira quality y'abasomesa abava mu colleges. Wetwogerera kati tewaliwo body eyo ekola ekyo. Weewaawo mandate babadde bagiwa university. Naye university ekuze, university efuuse nnene, ebyetaago bingi ate nayo kubanga PTCs na NTCs zibeera under Ministry of Education. Bebagiwa budgets, beba recruiting abasomesa. Kyambogo yali ekola okukola curriculum na n'okusetting exams. Naye ekyo tekimala. Naye bateekako body unity nga ITEC bwe yaba, Institute for Teacher Education Kyambogo, nga responsibility gyerina eri purely kulabirira quality y'abasomesa. Ekyo kijja kuyamba eggwanga lino. Kubanga n'abagambako twagendako mu Cuba ne tusanga nti Cuba erina University of Pedagogy, university nene, ate university erina branches mu every region ye Cuba. Kwegamba university kyekola kwe kulabirira quality y'abasomesa mu ggwanga lyonna. Abantu balowooza nti esente zino tuziwe Kyambogo ebukole. Kyambogo ekuze, egenze mu direction ya research, ya science, the PhD training. Kulabirira abasomesa kijja kuba kizibu. Naye tulowooza nti unity bw'eba etandise, gavumenti n'egiwa support, n'egiwa bantu, n'egiwa ssente, n'egiwa mandate ne responsibilities, kijja kuyamba eggwanga lyaffe nga tuproducing quality teachers. Quality teachers ba nursery, quality teachers ba primary, ne quality teachers ba secondary. I don't see why it will not be enforced, because right now the teacher policy is running. Many teachers are registering. Those diploma holders are registering to undertake their bachelors. So the teacher policy is already being implemented. So what we need to do is to continue with the teacher policy and address the challenges that we meet going forward. One of the challenges is to have to be able to teach on a bachelor's program will require that you should have a master's. That's going to be another challenge. There are not many people with masters in these colleges. However, you have some with masters, but not many to teach. So UNITE will have to come up with a system of recruiting teachers in these core PTCs, which are going to be teaching undergraduate bachelors. So staffing is going to be one of the issues they have to look at. I think that's the main thing. Otherwise, infrastructure is there. The number of students who want to graduate is massive. And I think UNITE will have to liaise with the universities, which are already doing education, like Makerere, like Kyambogo, like KIU, like many universities are already doing education. And UNITE will come up with a system of working with these institutions so that they can continue producing teachers for the country with bachelors.
So when you say more effort needs to be put into the enforcement of the meeting, what exactly are you speaking to?
We are speaking the regulatory framework. That one needs to be completed. The National Council needs to complete their work and decide which way UNITE is going to run and the framework under which it is going to operate. And then once that is done, government will move ahead to recruit people, put in place infrastructure, identify where the institutions are, and how they are going to be regulated. Because these other 23 NTCs are going to be campuses of UNITE. So it's going to start with already 23 campuses. And that is big, and it needs to be coordinated properly. Mm-hmm.
At the moment, Uganda
Nyogedde nti Cuba bwe twagendayo ne tusanga nti balina University of Pedagogy. Eno ye university esomesa okusomesa. Nesomesa okusomesa ku bantu abagenda kusomesa mu colleges ne mu university. Kubanga bw'oba ogenda kusomesa mu university oteekwa kutekinga courses za university eyo. Twagenda Cuba kubanga waliwo departments zaffe ezitalina abantu abamala. Departments nga engineering, nga architecture. Universities zonna zikisanze walimu obuzibu ku employing engineers mu university, omuteeke mu university, omusasule $6,000,000 akole omwezi gwonna. Ba engineers zino sente bazikolera olunaku lumu bwe baba mu field. So universities zisanze ekizibu ku maintaininga engineers. Nsonga lwaki twali tugenze Cuba tulabe kiki ba engineers babwe balabata tubaleete bano batuyambe kusomesa. Twali tukikozeeko ne Korea, twalina wano Korean professors ne basomesa bulungi. Bw'owa olulimi lwasooka kubataawaanya naye after some time ne bayiga Luzungu. And they are very practical, very practical. Abaana ne babaagala nnyo. Naye nekirala ojja kujjukira nti Mbarara University of Science and Technology bwe yatandika ne Cuban professors. Tebaali bangi naye benyina baatandika university. After some time ne tufunamu abalala naye benyini bwe batandika university. Eyo nsonga lwaki Cuba exporting abantu eba traininga ne exporting. Kubanga bw'oleeta Cuban professor ntakole wano kirabise esente tosasula professor oyo, esente osasula government neja kwezeyagala nemuwa. You can debate this and say it's fair or unfair, but that's the government policy. So kati chetuli kwecho training abasomesa. That's why that's ensonga lwaki to supporting issue ya unity bafune body responsible for the quality of the teachers. I think we have finished. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Our lunch is ready, and our support refund is going to be given. Please don't move before you get it. And